This is how a typical business day for Mohammed Sule begins. He is among hundreds of thousands of hard-working Nigerians who run their small businesses using the generating set. An over-reliance on the generator owing to insufficient power supply over time has virtually brought the nation's indigenous manufacturing sector to its knees.
The government should look for something benefit and do about it because it's unbearable. It's unbearable to the core.
Nigeria's electricity power crisis has further deteriorated in recent times, hitting households and businesses hard, with authorities now blaming the situation on sabotage and insufficient gas to run the country's power plants.
Government should look into those contracts, revise them as possible, and get those plants completed because they have guaranteed gas supply. And then we deal with the vandalism to at least give us enough gas to go to Ibrahim, to go to Oroshogo and others, and then we'll be doing fine enough to focus back on the more structural work of guaranteeing an efficient, long-term sustainable electricity market in Nigeria.
But during the 2011 presidential campaigns, President Goodluck Jonathan made a deluge of promises, including provision of steady power supply, no doubt raising the hope of Nigerians who have for years been groping in darkness.
We don't want to run a government where we have to go.
4 years since the promises were made, there are more questions begging for answers.
The president is not the first to make this kind of promise. You remember late Chief Bola Ige promised to turn around the power sector within 6 months. So the challenge is really that many people in positions of authority underestimate the enormity of the challenges that public administration face in the country. Because one basic problem in all of this is high level of corruption.
The Minister of Power, Professor Chinedu Nebo, said the government has done well for the sector, but for a few lapses.
Promises of this administration for power, directly power, has been fulfilled. The only problem, and my regret, is that we did not win the war against gas supply. And that war is especially against vandalism of those who constantly, perennially disrupt gas supply to the turbines by busting our gas pipelines and costing the Nigerian gas company a minimum of 120 million naira every month for fixing of the gas pipeline.
The administration really need to sit down and look at the gamut of all the issues that is required. And the beginning point really is first to get competent people to run these agencies, second to have a strategy that they will utilize, and third is to have a comprehensive public administration reform.
With the worsening power situation in the country, the government has opened up the sector to allow private sector participation, but more importantly, has asked the new administration taken over in a few days to treat the power challenge as the moral equivalent of a warfare. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.